Welcome to episode number 44 of the BEBC
BS
Podcast. August 3rd, fellas, and it's raining.
That's crazy. A good omen.
It is a good omen.
Man, we have our first official get-together, and we get rain that we hadn't had in about a month, so it's got to be good.
By the way, we haven't done this in a long time. We are recording, correct?
We are recording.
Okay,
yes.
Good. Just making sure.
So, yeah, that's always a scary
We've
thing.
done that. We've been known to record a whole one.
We've gone through a whole podcast.
Oh, and it was a good one, too.
But we did it again.
Yeah.
He was a gracious guest to come back on that one. So, it's raining. And the first thing, when I said that, the first thing that came to mind was all the rain last year during the season.
Yep.
So, August, let's get the rain out of the way. Because that makes for a long evening for everybody.
Yeah.
Especially having to deal with a lot of those security people at the stadium.
That was the first time in a long time in many years that we had rain during games like that.
It was awful. Well, what are you doing out there wiping your eyes?
I don't know, but
trying to keep from crying.
I got a new schedule now, so I won't get to make all the games. But if we have rain delays, I get back in Allen at midnight. I might catch halftime on, you know. So
you might. Well, we are honored today because this doesn't happen often. In fact, this is the first time it's happened to have with us.
Really?
Ringtone.
That was the lead-in music.
Church, brother.
The lead-in music.
Turn yourself
When your
phone
wife
off.
calls,
Put your phone in Cinemark mode.
There you go. As I was saying, we're happy and honored and looking forward to having a great podcast with the
Freudian slip.
with the head coach of the Allen Eagles, Coach Terry Gambill.
Hey.
Coach, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, we're excited about this because we have a long list of things we want to talk about. So this might be the longest podcast ever. I mean,
It'll be fun.
we can get lunch brought in if you want. Because there's so many things to talk about, and we won't hit them all. But we do have a lot, and we do appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. Come hang with us and just get some questions and just talk about all things. Not so much Allen related, although we're going to get to that. But we have a lot of questions about Texas high school football in general.
Yeah.
But we wanted to start out just asking, how's your summer been?
It's been great.
What's a typical summer for Coach Gambill?
You had an eventful summer.
Had a back in the spring, got my daughter Casey married in May.
All right.
Congratulations.
I'm out on the streets
It's another one off the payroll.
trying to pick up a little extra cash and pay for the wedding.
Mowing yards on the weekend.
Mowing a few yards here and there. But no, it's been great. Summers to me are great because it's an opportunity for our team to get better.
Yep.
And you get to see what the kids do during the summer of how, because in my situation, I got to see them from the time we started off season and how they continue to grow and develop. And it's pretty awesome and it's really neat. That's where a lot of people, they don't get to see those type of things. And to me, that's fun. Mm-hmm. And because our kids really work hard. And then we tried to do a 7-on-7. We went over to the Nike tournament at the Star and were able to win that. It wasn't just 7-on-7. It was our linemen were involved, and we were able to win that. So they had different categories. So that part of it was good. And then summer was different for as the Allen Eagles were concerned this year. We had to shut it down for like 10 days. 4th of July week was off, and then 3 or 4 days after that. So they had a good vacation, then they came back and got after it, and we're to where we're at now. So looking forward to a great year because of our leadership and our kids. Because the whole deal, it's not about one individual. That's what's neat about football. That's what's neat about life. That's what's neat about families. That's what it's truly about. It's about your family, and it's about how you become a team and how they can relate to it. This group has been very, very team-oriented, and they're not so concerned about the accolades or things like that. So looking forward to it, and again, thank you for having me.
Thanks. We're glad you're here.
Well, speaking on that, about how the kids want to work, Mark and I talked to Braylon Sharp, the basketball game, right after we lost, and he said that he and some of the receivers were already working Already in the indoor facility getting going for,
Raylan has
Raylan
has done a really good job of throwing and all summer, and the receivers have too. The other thing that we've been able to do this summer, UIL has changed the rules, so we get to work with the players 2 hours a week, and it's Monday through Thursday. But what we sit down as a staff and we sit down and try to analyze of how we could use it to where it's beneficial, because you can do too much football too early.
Yeah.
And we don't want to play our best football weeks 1 or 2. And so what we decided as a staff is we would do every Tuesday work with the players for just 1 hour. We thought that was plenty. And so when they came in the mornings to PC at 7 o'clock in the morning, Gino and his staff warmed them up, and then we took them from right after they warmed up. And then what we did is we worked a 12-period workout so that we were able to work with them. And that was great. And then our 9th grade group came in, and we were able to work with them and start evaluations on our 9th grade players. So we did that the month of June, and then we entered into July, and we had to move the dates to Thursday so we could get all the Thursdays in. And so we were able to get basically 7 workouts in, and the kids did a great job. I think it's good, too. The kids got a break from doing the off-season type drills, the summer drills, to where they got to do some football. And we had a great turnout. Our kids really came out and just competed and did things to get better to help the football team. So that's something that changed. We did not utilize the 2 hours. We just worked 1 hour.
That's great.
Yeah, because it can get to be a little burnout. I know we've had some kids move in from out of state, and they're a little bit have to get used to working as hard as they do in Texas. It's a little different than some of the other states, where they get the whole summer off.
Right.
And
I think the main thing is talking to some kids that move in from out of state is just the structure, the organization of everything. They're not as organized, or they do not work out as a team. They may work out as individuals or at health clubs or just a trainer. And I think what catches them is that this is a fully committed, and to me, it's a program. It's not a coach. It's not an individual. It is the Allen Eagles, and it is a program from all the way down, starting in the 7th grade, all the way to high school football to a varsity level. And it's a program. And so I think that's the neat thing about it, is that you get to be a part of something that's special. You get to be a part of something that develops you year round. And it gives you an opportunity to just be, in my opinion, the best program in the country.
Go up. Yeah. Well, I was trying to see how it's going to work. Hey. This is my world in this group. Thank you very much.
Help us.
We're a bunch
I
of
need all the
helpers.
help I can get. That begs the question. Obviously, for years we've had our fair share of move-ins from out of town, from out of state, from other parts of the state, and so forth. Why do you think, from your point of view, why do you think when and let's be honest, families transfer, parents transfer for job purposes and all that kind of stuff. Why do you think when they come in here and they start looking around where they want to live, why Allen seems to be such the perfect place for these families and these kids to play in this program?
Well, the question I would always ask people is, if I was moving, let's say, from out of state, California, Florida, or anywhere, or even in the state of Texas, if I was moving, which people nowadays in time, and this is what's changed over the years, I'm fixing to start year 35 of coaching. So when I played high school football, people did not get jobs and transfer as much. People lived in the same community and city. It's not so much about the programs, it's about people being transferred. Things have changed in our lives. People get promotions all the time. What has happened over in Frisco? The Toyota. I mean, that was moved from California. So all of these people move in here. So if you were going to move, and I'm just going to throw this question, to Austin, to the Austin area, where would you take your child to go to a school? You would do the research, and you would find out from an education standpoint, if your son or daughter played athletics, what that program was like. And if they were very talented, then you would probably put them there. It's no different at the college level when a star athlete decides where does he want to go to. So what does he do? He starts doing his research, and the family does. What kind of degree is he going to get? And whether people like it or not, how are they winning? Am I going to have a chance to play early? And people do their research. People do their research on school districts. What are their ratings like? I want my child to be in a program or a school district that is excellent. And I think more than anything, people start accusing people of recruiting and all that, and it doesn't. People do their research, and it basically, if you want to use the word recruiting, it recruits itself. And they want their child plugged into a program, and they want their child plugged into things like our school district has. If you walk into our high school and your son was going to be a chef, where would you send them? I'd send them to Allen, because they've got their own restaurant. They've got a area that can develop my son or daughter to be a great chef and do that. Same thing, we have our campus store in there. We have one of the finest, greatest fine arts departments. I mean, that is just unbelievable. We have a band that has 800. We have, in my opinion, we have everything to offer our people, our students here in Allen. So to me, I think people move here for a reason, and it's to be in a great school district.
And I think the reputation of this community supporting Allen High School. I mean, look at the school we built, look at the stadium that we built, and so forth. I think people from out of state see that as well too. That the community supports the school and the district, and it's always
sell out after a year or two.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we all said it when that stadium was built. That's gonna people are gonna sit there and just. Yeah, I want to be part of this community, that kind of thing. I mean,
we got a lot of bad press, but that's people that don't understand where the community's mindset is.
I think that you can always look at things in different ways. But I think something that I'm very, very proud of is our community here in Allen. And if you go back, and our athletic director, Steve Williams, is fixing to start year 45. He has seen it from ground zero all the way back. And the one thing that he always talks about is how the Allen community has always valued the importance of our school system. And I think that sometimes we take for granted that it's always going to be here. And I think the community of Allen needs to realize that our kids are the most important thing. And we need to provide them with something that is outstanding. If we need to redo elementary schools, we need to redo elementary schools, because we do not want to fall behind to where somebody drives into our community and says, man, look how bad that looks. To me, I want our community to be the best in the country, and whatever we have to do to keep it at a top-notch level, because if you're going to stay at a top-notch level, there's a price that you have to pay, and I don't have a problem. I live here in Allen. I pay taxes just like everybody else, and I don't have a problem with my money going to a worthy cause. I look at it one or two ways. You can either provide and help young people, or you can go build more prisons. And to me, I'd rather get behind a community that is after something great, and that's our kids.
Amen.
So I wanted to ask a question about, I guess, continuing education for the coaches. I know you guys probably take up and try and train up some of the younger coaches that come in and stuff, but they just had the Texas State High School Coaches Association. Is that something you guys participate in?
Yes, it's the largest in the country, and it's something former head football coach of Allen, Joe Martin, is the executive director now. And it's a great, great convention. And then on top of that, after we come back from that, we get started. So we have meetings. We just finished up this week with meetings with our coaches. And so we start training, and we work together from middle school all the way up to the high school level. And the UIL, which is our governing body, you now have to be trained in how to teach and coach tackling. There's not a coach in our school system that will not know how to teach tackling the proper way. We had already been doing that.
Yeah,
It's
you don't
now,
want to end up like Jason Street.
yeah, it's now it's now the way of things. The game of football is safer than it's ever been because we've taken the head out of it.
Yeah.
But we had been teaching the tackling the correct way before then, and so all our coaches are certified. All our coaches are certified CPR. All the health requirements. Our trainer Mike Harrison does a great job with that. So we go through all of this training, and that's what separates us from other states. This is a true profession for our coaches. This is not something we do on the side. Right. And we're trained. They're great, also great teachers. Our school system, to me, we have great teachers, not just coaches. They're great teachers in the classroom, math department, English, science, whatever they are a part of. They're great teachers. That's why they're a good coach, is because they're a great teacher.
Yeah, I just missed y'all again this year, Coach. I got there the day y'all left. We're leaving the Marriott. And stuff.
Yeah,
I saw Martin actually when I was checking in. I walked up to him and said, "Coach Martin." He goes, "You look from us." Yeah, Nolan Schrader from Allen. He goes, "Hey."
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
They do a good job of running the convention.
14,000 coaches y'all had there this year.
That's right. Yeah, a lot. So.
All right, I want to take you back because we've got something. Alan's not here today, and Alan's flying, so he's flown back from Madrid, so he's not able to be here. But he said something. I want to take you back because I got two questions on this. Actually, one question. I want to take you back to the Duncanville game last year as the season ended. So we all know how we feel when Allen loses because it doesn't happen often, and
At all.
Yeah, and it's one, it's a little shocking typically because you always have that expectation that you're going to win, and two, it always seems to happen so quickly and then bam, abrupt, and you're done, and it's like football season's over.
What do we do now?
Yeah, what do we do now? What do we do? Okay, basketball. We roll on, but what does it feel like from your perspective as a coach to take a loss, and especially one like that, because that was such a great game. I'll put it this way: I've got it DVR still, and I have not been able to watch it yet. I mean, because I guess if I started at the second half, I could watch it, but the first half was such a we don't know what it was, and you lived it. You were there. You were on the sidelines. You were dealing with the kids that were doing it. So game's over. What's going through Coach Gambill's mind?
Well, it's to me, anything that we do, you've got to grow and you've got to learn.
Yep.
Even you on your job or whatever. And so when I enter into a game, I don't look at it so much as the wins and the losses. Yes, we all want to win, and that's something that has happened here in Allen. And if you're not careful, it can be people can just get accustomed to it.
Yeah, it's the expectation.
Right,
yeah.
and I don't have any problems with that.
Yeah.
But you also got to keep everything else in perspective, because you have, in a game like that, we were down 35-14 at half. We come back out and we were able to tie the game. Mm-hmm. So the kids had done an unbelievable. So now when the game ended, the first thing that happens is those kids, especially your seniors, they're devastated. So you're out there on the field, you're trying to work through all of that, and you want to be a good winner, good loser, whatever. And so you want to, go across the field and tell them, congratulations, wish them the best of luck towards the state championship game, hope you win it, and do things like that. But when you play at Cowboy Stadium too, you've got a bunch of security people telling you got to get off the field because there's another game coming and this and that. And I mean, things get really chaos. And sometimes you don't know how your players are going to handle it either.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've got players going in all different directions. And so you've got to be able to regroup. You've got to get everybody together, which sometimes is hard because of whatever that last play is and how things are happening and all the reactions. To me, it just speaks volumes about and what we try to get involved in the entire year. Guys, I don't care what happens, you've got to understand, do not embarrass yourself or do not embarrass the program. And I think it's a life lesson that you just try to take with you, and you keep working and you keep doing those things. But no matter what happens, to me, I'm proud of them because, number one, they put on a uniform and they showed great courage by suiting up to be a football player. There's so many people that don't even want to do that. Number one, they've shown great courage from day one, and then they worked as hard as a community for the community as a team, and they're trying to do things. Yes, it is devastating in some sense, but to me, I do not look at it as like that. More than anything, I'm just more concerned about the kids and trying to get them regrouped and headed in the right direction, because it was one step away. I mean, we were down 35-14. A lot of people probably wrote us off. Yeah. And we come back out tight, and you got the momentum. And at one time when we held them, I thought, we're fixing to go win this thing. And it just didn't work out. And a lot of times I think that things work out for a reason. And to me, you got to grow from it. I think Grant Tisdale is a better person and a better quarterback from that experience. I think every person that was on that football team is a better person from that experience, because that's how you grow. That's how you learn. And so it's a teaching lesson, and that's what's great about football, that it teaches you something. Sometimes you don't like it, but I'm going to tell you this, you'll never be very good unless you go through adversity.
Yeah.
That's what I've always told people, and we're all fathers,
right.
Raising your kids. I'm okay with my kids failing, because hopefully it motivates them to not fail the next time, or to see what they need to change to make that not occur, if they want to succeed in whatever they're doing. So failure's okay for me.
It's not
a lot of people want to protect their kids. So no, you're gonna, and you're like, no, it's okay.
Right, and it's not fun.
No, it's not. It's not. And you touched on something, and this is where Allen came from, and we know you know about this, so we're just going to. Allen wrote this big old long thing he wanted me to read to you. So he said, "Coach, I wish I could be there in person to do this, but I got to make a buck." As I said, he's working.
Right.
He's fine.
He goes, "I wanted to publicly, as much as this is, apologize for what I said after the Duncanville game," and this was on a podcast. "I made reference to the team leaving the field as it did after the Westlake game, without any apparent organized on-field team closure. As a father, I've always enjoyed watching teams that have lost an important playoff game group the kids together for a life lesson right there on the field when the wounds are so fresh. I guess I really wanted that for our kids, and I was disappointed when that didn't happen at those times. As a parent, I can be disappointed, but it was wrong of me to publicly say anything about you and your coaches and how you run your program. I hope you accept my apology. Now go beat Duncanville." So, Allen, he was going to say that. We had talked about it before, but he's not here, and he wanted to make sure you heard that. Because,
you're right. The security guards at Texas State, we saw them. They were all out there doing this kind of thing.
There's a lot as fans that we don't know what goes on when you're down on the field.
You don't. And
because we want to mourn with you.
Right.
That's the thing.
The thing, too, is when you win, because if you go back and think now, we had won 16 games the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you had won 14.
Yep.
So now everybody's media is chasing streaks.
Yep.
What's the win streak up to? Coach Westerberg and those guys went through that.
Yep.
And so when it happens, the media now, those people are out there wanting to talk to you also, and things like that. And to me, is there a perfect way? Are we all perfect? No. And to me, it's just about the kids and being able. When I look back, I wish we would have gone straight to our band and got everything there. And I think once you do that, it gives you time also to just kind of decompress as the school song is being played.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I will talk to our team about this year before we ever play a game. Guys, you got to think about this. Whether you win or lose, when that school song is being played, that's who we are. That's our school.
Yep.
But it gives us a time also to just decompress and just relax and gather your thoughts. Whether you might be mad, you might not be mad, or you might be just so happy, but you still need to handle it the right way, and you need to come together as a team no matter what happens, and you need to accept it. And I think it's a very valuable lesson. So to Allen, it's something that we'll take and we'll grow from it. And I think that's something that we'll talk as a team. I mean, because whether we like it or not, when you put on an Allen Eagle uniform, you are a role model.
Yeah.
I am a role model. And whether you like it or not, it comes with it. And so we'll grow from it. Things like this, I'm serious, they do not bother me. I just, anybody ever has questions, hey, sit down and talk about it. And so that's how we do it.
We want to get, I will just say, that whole experience, and I know a lot of people, we tailgate every week, so we interact with the kids a lot, and we know a lot of them, and they all stop by, they get Gatorade or whatever. But you can ask us what's one of your favorite memories of any Allen Eagle game, and I think to the man, all of us would say that we're there. And I don't remember the year, but the Spring Westfield game, the ice game, when there were like 200 people in the stands.
It was 13.
And after the game, when Westerberg make all the kids walk through the stands and thank us for being there, we'll never forget that.
Yes.
And that's the interaction, you know, that was so memorable to all of us, and the kids appreciated us being. We'll never forget. I don't remember who it was.
But we were singing a fight song after every score.
The pizza box in his hand.
Because the band is not there, so we're left to sing the fight song for every score, and
there was a lot of them.
There was a lot of them.
But that's the kind of memories that we look at. Go, that's the interaction, that people enjoy having with the kids, and you can't do that every week. No. And it was a really
and I will go and say this: I wish we had more people like y'all, because
sure about that?
But what y'all do on game days to
check his temperature,
the tailgating and everything, because you that's what makes up a team. It's everybody, and I mean, is everything going to run smoothly? No. Do you like it all? No. I mean, anybody's job, there's going to be things you love about it. There's going to be things you don't like about it. So that's the way life runs.
So should we ask you what you don't like about your job?
You ready to go on record, sir?
No, it's all good. I mean, the hardest thing is that you want to please everybody.
Right, you can.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love for every person, but what I have to go back and look is our program doing what it's supposed to do to help young men.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at it there, you can't get caught up in playing time.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't get caught up in it's about me. And most of the time when anybody has questions and all, it's about me. And you've got to remove that. You're not the most important person in your family. The family is. You're not the most important person at your job. The team is, no matter what we do. And so I think people have lost sight of that, and you have to look at that. And that's, to me, what it's about. I'm so proud of our kids, of how they handle themselves, trying to do their best every day out there working hard. But more importantly, I want them to be a great, great student athlete. And we have in place to help them become better students with our tutorial program and everything that comes with it. So to me, that's what it's about. Try to improve, and just don't look at the playing time or how many catches you got or how many tackles you got, because then your focus is wrong. It's about me. When we start on August the 12th, we have to start football practice where we are more concerned with what type of focus do I have, what type of attitude do I have, what type of feelings do I have for my teammates, and how am I going to work and do the things that it takes to form a team. Everybody thinks the Allen Eagles are going to have a great team. We don't know. There's no way of telling this right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to show up. Who's going to show up first on time and be ready to be successful?
Well, and you talked about FaceTime and interaction, and one of the things that's been going on for a lot of years, and maybe you can help me understand kind of the origins of it. It's the Reading with the Eagles, where the cheerleaders and the football players will go to their elementary schools. If they went to the elementary school here in Allen, they'll go back to the same elementary school and kind of connect with the kids. Were you here when that started, or was that?
Joe Martin started it.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for years, and it's one of the greatest things that our program does is because we get to interact with all the kids at our elementaries and our players. You want to see something special, they got to get in there and they got to be, they got to be who they are.
Yeah.
And now I think it makes our players also think about, am I really doing this? Am I really doing what I'm saying? Because they'll get some tough questions thrown at them. And I think it just makes them think back to,
Kids are brutal.
am I really doing this and what? And then at times, I will always ask a player or things like that and say, hey, what would you do if this was your football team? What would you expect of your players? And they got to answer, I see where you're coming from now. And but I think more importantly, that they get to interact with those kids at elementary school see that that's number 30. Now I know who that is and things like that. It's just a neat experience.
Well, the fact
I'm telling you, you can't put a price on it.
Yeah.
Seeing that these kids, that he used to go to school here. You know, a lot of times.
Yeah, my wife's a teacher, and she said that's a pretty special time when the kids know, hey, we're having reading with the Eagles this day, blah blah blah. Yeah. Whether they're interested in football or not, it's something special.
I tell you this much, I've seen elementary teachers that our players went to school and had that teacher, and you talk about something special.
Wow.
Because that teacher had an impact in that young man's life. I mean, they had an impact in that young man's life, and that kid goes back and she's like, wow. And some of it, they're laughing about, boy, I remember when you did this or that, and also it's pretty neat. It really is.
Yeah.
Now you see a lot of ex-players come back we see them at football games and stuff, and I think I saw Theo at one of the camps. You see one of the camps. How important is that for them to come back and mentor the kids, and how do they handle that? Do the kids really enjoy that? And could you talk about that a little bit?
I tell you what's neat about it is Theo reached out to us.
That's great.
So Theo wanted to come talk to our players.
Yeah.
We didn't call Theo. I didn't know Theo was in town or whatever. Theo reached out to us and said, Coach, I want to come talk to the varsity players at 7 o'clock at PC. So he wanted to talk to this year's varsity football team. Mm-hmm. And so when he showed up, then we asked him if he would come talk to our kids at our camps. And Theo has always been very, very good about doing things like this. And it just means the world to him because the program. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a young man that did things the right way, that graduated early. Mm-hmm. He didn't wait and graduate on time. He graduated early, and he's really, when you're talking about a true Allen Eagle, it's not his performance on the field. That's just his stage. The real Theo Weiss is who he is as a person. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's what it's about. Grant Tisdale did the same thing. And to me, that's what it's about when you look back as a coach of seeing what Grant and Theo and all our players have become. It's not just them. It's all our players that are going on and making other people better. Yeah. And that's what they're doing. They're making other people better. Theo and Grant's going to make Grant at Ole Miss, Theo at OU, they're going to make their other players better just by being who they are. We get caught up in all this athletics as far as wins and losses and programs and all that. You got to take a step back and see where they're going to be and what they're doing with their lives. I mean, look at the NFL players that just were drafted this year, this past draft, and all those players came back.
Yeah. Greg and Bobby Jr. I mean,
they all came back up there to the stadium, and popped in, and man, what tremendous people they are. Coach Westberg and his staff back during that time and era did an unbelievable job with those guys because they were a part of developing them. Yeah. And so that's, to me, what the program of Allen High School is about, is things like that.
Great.
Let's get a little more football intensive directly as it relates to this year. There's a couple things that we've been throwing around. That the UIL is looking into creating a Class 7A.
Yeah.
And so, what are your thoughts on that? And you can answer not only as a football coach, but as an assistant athletic director, because it affects more than just football.
It's probably, to me, we already have Division I, Division II.
Yep.
If you do that, the thing that will change is your travel.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like McKinney North over here, they're 5A, and they're in those divisions. Well, they have to drive all the way to Texarkana. And their district is so widespread. I think you have enough competition that the way they're doing it right now is really good because of travel and who you're playing and all that. It's all going to work itself out because we have a Division I and Division II.
Yeah.
And people can say numbers and this and that. I understand that. I get that. That's their opinion. But I think by playing Division I and Division II, it separates itself anyway. You're going to end up playing the same people. If we were in Division I, we're going to play the same schools anyway in the playoffs. So, and if you're one of the top teams in Division II, then you're going to be put in that bracket. So you'll end up playing the same teams. If you want to put it in district, that's fine. I mean, but understand this too. When you do that, you're going to have to travel a whole lot further.
Yeah. Which raises costs.
That's right.
Yeah. And again, not just football.
Right.
Yeah, because
It's everything.
Football,
Band, everybody.
Yeah.
football is not as big of an issue because you play on Friday.
Right.
And
Could you imagine
play
playing
one
a
game, one
you
game
play
a
a
week.
Tuesday night volleyball game. McKinney North's got to travel to Texarkana.
And
they
they
have
have
stuff like that. That makes it tough because the next day in school, the kids are blown out. They're, tired from getting.
their districts are a little different in the other sports too.
Oh, are they?
Yes. So they may not play the same. The other sports, they do have different districts. So, I mean, I think, number one, the UIL does a great job of what they do for the purpose of athletics. Well, to me, I have to look at it as what is the purpose? It's to provide the kids and the coaches an opportunity to compete and play. And so we have that opportunity. Is any system ever going to be perfect? No. They're always looking at college football, the NFL, and they're trying to find ways to make it better. And I think the UIL does that. They try to make it. They try to improve it. So anyway.
I always thought the 7A talk was just media, pushing a story and so forth. I mean, yes, you've got and you brought it up. You've got the same teams that always seem to be matching up against each other during playoff times. Well, and a lot of people say, well, it's because of the size of the school. No, it's not because of the size of the school. It's the program. These programs are the top notch in the state. Period. And if you want to be one of those teams that is matching up in the playoffs year in, year out, maybe you should look at your program. It's the same 11 kids on the field going on offense and 11 kids on the field playing defense. Doesn't matter how many kids you got sitting on the sidelines.
All I know is this: John Walsh doesn't want to see Allen. What was his quote? Get Allen out of my way. I want to tell him to get
what was that?
out of his way.
The Hebron coach said?
What's that?
Just been.
Oh, yeah. Which is another. The next thing I had written down was because next year is a redistricting year, and every
Realignment.
One of the questions I've always had is how hard is it to schedule for Allen to schedule their non-district games?
We're working on it right now.
Yeah.
We really are.
for next year.
Lining up the possibilities, yeah.
We're working on it right now, and you try to find games and things like that.
Hey, if I got to go sit on top of a billboard or something for an infinite number of days to get a Katie Allen game lined up, I'll do it, Coach. I'll come off that thing with a beer down here.
Here's what you got to look at, and I get it. When you play in the Tom Landry Classic, which is unbelievable.
That's so good.
Do you realize the Tom Landry Classic has raised over $1 million in scholarships for kids?
Yep.
And Coach Landry to be able to play in a game like that. But I understand. So if a school commits to the Tom Landry Classic, it's not a situation where you play one game in Allen and then you go to their site.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest. If I was the opposing coach, I would not be a part of that because I would want you to play one game home and home series. But and I understand that. But at the same time, the Tom Landry Classic, we're raising the money, and I understand. So that's why you get the out-of-state schools and things like that being a part of it. The thing that it does hurt as far as trying to schedule ours is our sub-varsity games. So if we played, like my first year back, we played Hoover. We had to find sub-varsity games for our kids to play. So there's a lot of things that go into it, and I think that the people that we play in the state of Texas, I mean, like this coming year, we're going to play all schools in the state of Texas, and I think that that's unbelievable. Dickinson's going to come up here. You're talking about a great program. They're really good. We're going to play
Gators.
They got
the
cool
Gators.
helmets.
Cedar Hill, they're going to be, I mean, our first two ball games will be tested tremendously. So
We thought so.
it will be a big challenge.
That's sort of what raises the
Right.
question: is it that difficult to get somebody to want to come play?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it'll be a big challenge for us this year. I mean, we have 3 games, all 3 right off the bat, that are outstanding programs, outstanding, well coached. Cedar Hill, Dickinson, Coppell. And so then we roll right into Plano and McKinney, and then we'll have a bye week. So it'll be a tough year.
It's an interesting schedule, too.
Yes, it is.
Because you play most of your home games. I mean, your last 3 games are on the road.
Right. And that was because Prosper's week 9.
Right.
And their stadium was not ready. So
Yeah,
what
it's
we
nice
did
of
is
them
we
to
switched that last year.
Yeah.
And so that's what took place with that scheduling. And that's why it worked out that way. Prosper's built in a really beautiful stadium, and that'll
gonna be able to
a lot
fit?
of fun. Yes, I think it'll be fun. I mean, I really do. I mean, they've done a great job. When you're talking about a school district from top to bottom, girls and boys athletic programs,
Yeah, it's up and coming.
Good program.
they did a great job. I mean, and they're continuing to improve, and they've got a nice stadium now. So Prosper's done things the right way.
All right. We have this is an off-the-wall question you didn't think we were going to ask. What's your favorite uniform combination that Allen wears?
I'm pretty. Y'all probably. What do y'all think? Y'all think that I'm?
Old school.
We're curious what you think first.
I'm pretty old school, and I'm pretty one of these that tradition, plain. I don't like all the new. I love I love our helmets.
Yeah.
I love our uniforms.
helmets?
Both.
Okay.
I mean,
So I like them too. I like both of them too.
I mean,
Who wears the Tuffy blue and all the
I
time,
love
so.
the white helmet with Tuffy. I like the A, but I like just traditional. And the players, you
Not
could
so
ask
much.
them. You could ask them. They're wanting to do all kinds, and I said, guys, we're going to look like a team. We're going to dress like a team, and you're going to do things this way. Because when you start worrying about how you look and dress,
Yeah.
then you're trying to bring attention to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. You're trying to bring attention, and we can't do it.
That's true.
And you've got to be a team player. So we're going to dress the same way, and we're going to look like a team.
And I'm sure you hear some of it, but it's always interesting in the stands. It's a conversation. What are they wearing this week?
Some
And then-
people love some of the stuff,
and then
and
the
other people
red
hate it.
shows up. And,
Oh, my God.
Oh,
So
people
not
lose their
traditional.
minds,
They
you
lose
know.
their mind.
It's almost like
Westerberg said when they broke out those red pants against Keller in the playoffs, he said, if we lose, he said, I'm gonna be crucified to that goalpost.
I tell you what's neat is our captains and our seniors, they pick out the uniforms.
That's good.
That's cool.
And so we try to mix and match, and that's what's great about our program is that we have so many opportunities to put on the field a really great looking uniform. Yeah. And so we are a Nike school.
Right.
And they work well with us, and so that part of it's fun to be a part of. It is part of a program that has Nike and our players, as far as gloves, practice, and everything. It's like being in a Division I football program. Yeah. And so I like that type of things, and so I have to remind our players, do you like being able to get stuff like this?
The goodies.
So let's do things the right way.
Yeah.
So that begs
You're in
the
a special
question.
situation. Yeah.
We're going to see something new this year?
We got a new uniform coming.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Got a brand new one coming, and it'll be.
When are you going to wear it?
We can't wear it until we go on the road because it's white.
There you go.
And
Any chance we can get a copy?
You will probably sit there and go, well, that looks just like the other. But again, what can you do with a uniform? You can only do it so many.
So much striping and
so
piping.
much the way you can.
Sure.
And so,
Well, here's a question for you. So this was a little bit before your time. Is Kyler Murray the only person that could get away with wearing Drake socks
And gold shoes.
and gold shoes on game day? I mean,
That's a Westerberg question.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Broke
I
out those
wasn't here
gold cleats
then.
against.
That's
Well, no,
the
but-
point, you're
We do
right.
understand Westerberg is one of our 15 listeners. So,
love you, Tom.
So,
Do you think 4 teams out of each district for the playoffs is a good number? Would you like to see the season shorted a little bit? Maybe not have as many teams make the playoffs?
I think it'd be very hard to go back and do
Yeah.
anything different now because we have in place 2 in big school, 2 in small. I don't think you could really go back now. I think it's probably going to stay that way, and I just don't see it changing.
We love it.
And I think it allows kids the opportunity to compete in the playoffs here in Texas.
It also allows the fans to look and say, well, if this team loses, that bumps this team up into the Division I, or if they win, this team, you don't know how, because the 2 larger schools
A lot of mix and
and
match.
mix and match
That's
in
another
the
podcast.
district. So it's fun to see how it's going to play out. I mean, we like it. We really do.
I mean, you do. I mean, not saying, but when I went to high school, only one school went.
Yeah.
And I can remember those days. And, I mean, you're talking about some unbelievable football games.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be
It
able to get
really
in,
mattered.
You
Yeah.
really just get into the playoffs.
well,
It's a
you look
district
at,
championship. And so you're district champion. That's one thing we try to emphasize still. Being a district champion is very important to me in our program because there's only one.
Yep.
There's only one, and you get a gold football. And to me, that speaks volumes about your program.
Right.
So,
with the format the way it is, you look at Horn last year.
right.
They started out over, and then
Horrible, yeah.
their team came together and they figured some things out and they made a run, and then they were rewarded with the playoffs,
Right.
and that just keeps the kids invested, with a little more of an opportunity to get better. I mean,
Right.
even if you just win one playoff game, well, that's an extra week of practice that your underclassmen gain
That's right.
for next year. All those things.
They ended up,
benefit
I
the
think,
program.
7-5, and but what a remarkable story because they
They were 0-5.
They were 0-5.
Their season
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
end, and so I think it's what we have in town, but I don't see it changing.
Yeah,
I
mean,
really
I
don't.
like the current.
I mean, I
setup.
think it's probably as good as you can have, and I think there's a lot of states out there that see what we have and they wish that their states had what we had as far as an athletic program and things like that. So
Is UIL continuing the district champs home field for
Yes.
the playoffs?
Yep.
Okay, they're going to continue.
and so that part of it's good too.
Yep.
I mean, it really is.
It's nice to have something besides just the
And
goal
it gives you
football.
something to shoot for.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like it.
Yeah, sit in our same seats. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to stand in line
Yeah.
4 hours before to get the good seats.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's amazing how that has transformed, because when we started this back in 2012, and so it wasn't near what it, not us, but the Allen Eagle football tradition wasn't. We never had to stand in line like that for, and it all started obviously with a winning streak, and Kyler and then the buzz around him really just. It's interesting to watch that transform, and now you got to fight, and people are trying to find ways. Who do I know that can get me in the stadium early? And it's crazy. And you go back to and Friday Night Lights will always be one of my favorite TV shows, but it's so much of that is true about Texas high school football.
Yep.
And the Buddy Garrity's of the world exist.
Right.
Yeah, he lives here.
Lives here in Allen.
Lives right up the street from me.
Yeah, that was not a good situation. I mean, and I understand. I mean, like playing at Williams Stadium in Garland.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a situation that we probably will never play at it again. I mean, but when you get into some of those coin tosses and things like that, I'm going to tell you this: everybody out there is trying to figure out what's best for their program and their team.
Yeah.
So when you start playing other teams, those situations become long drawn out. Okay, where are we going to play at? What day? This and that.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the Allen Eagles. Their program, they're fighting for what's best for their program. So,
Well,
I mean, it
We've done the
becomes a-
Boneyard
and
at
that's
Lake
still done a
Highlands.
week
We've done
prior,
Williams.
correct?
You try to get everything done because you got to pick officials.
Right.
So you don't want to be late on anything.
Yeah.
So you try to do it well in advance.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You try.
We think you've been late on officials for many, many weeks.
I got that written down.
I was just wondering, let me see what you
I can tell you this.
we'll do it.
Take the fifth.
We'll do it.
That I
I'll
was
go to Foot Locker, get me a shirt. That I can do just as good.
that I was real happy, but bottom line, it comes back on the way I look at it, and I talk to our coaches. We got to put a team out there that can perform, and from the time it starts to the time that game ends, you don't ever want to look back and say that we should have done this or that, and it's not the officials. We had plenty of opportunities to win games,
Right.
and at the end of the day, however it comes out.
Yeah, but
I mean,
You
just
got to
like
take the official
just,
side of the game.
just like the New Orleans Saints. I mean, everybody, including Sean Payton. I mean, and he said it. Was that the right call? No, but at the same time, he's accepted responsibility that they've had some other opportunities that they could have made the most of, and it does. But the focus gets on that. I think the game is very hard to call these days. I think it's very hard to call because of the rules that they have applied to the game. So when you're talking about a split second that guy's got to make that call, I mean...
Well, that begs the question.
Instant replay.
Instant replay that's
Right.
being talked about.
Well, when you're talking about instant replay, and they have it at the state game,
Yeah.
not every high school could afford it, and the facilities, and you're talking about can every
The
stadium...
cameras, the angles, the
all of it.
facilities.
Yeah.
You
true.
ought to see what takes place at the colleges to be able to have that.
Well, and not only that, there's a shortage of officials in Texas as there is
That's
right now.
right.
And now to add a booth review official on top of
Right.
all that,
Thanks.
it's
It's really. I don't know that they'll ever be able to have instant replay at all
I don't know if
because
we
of
could
the
want it.
number of officials and all that. It slows the game down.
just ask us. We know the right call.
I mean, look at what halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, right now the games are so long anyway, and people are like, "Man, this game's taking too long."
So you're advocating for a shorter halftime?
Oh, you better not.
No, I think what has to happen at halftime.
Please do, because that'll help our next podcast on Motto.
I think what has to happen at halftime is you got to stay on time.
Yeah.
And you got to get on, you got to get off, and you got to roll. And it's just like us practicing. Practice. We have a time. We got to stay to that time. It doesn't matter whether you got a coach that says, hang on. No. When that horn blows, we got to get to the next period. Just like in a quarter of a football game. You got 12 minutes, boom, it's over. You have to stay on time, and you got to go.
And bands know that too, because during competitions, it can come back and bite you.
Those band parents are ready to leave after halftime.
Yeah, they're ready to go. All right, before we get off the referees, because I do have a question, because we are highly entertained with your discussions with referees. We really are. Because I've never seen somebody who could have such a long, animated conversation with a referee and not get flagged. So, what's the secret here? Or what are those conversations? I mean, I saw you follow him almost up the ramp one halftime. I was like, he's going with him.
No, it's just something you start discussing, and the referee will tell you, and then you start discussing. And bottom line, I need to do a better job. I mean, I really do. I mean,
oh, you're doing a great job.
I need to do a better job at times, and
that wasn't a criticism.
It's not. But sometimes I tell our players that you got to handle yourself in a certain way. Well,
right.
Coach Gambill has to also, and I'm not above that.
No.
And at the same time, I have a side of me when that's taking place that I want to fight for our kids.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I want to really try to do everything I can for our team. And since I'm in that position, that's what I'm trying. But I've caught myself, and sometimes I sit there and I go, you know what? That's really not very good, Terry. You need to do a better job. So it's a double-edged sword, and but a lot of times I've gone back on video on Saturday and I go, wow, he was right.
Yeah.
Because I thought I saw it this way, and when that camera gets on it, I'm not kidding you. That just shows you how good they really are.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're a lot better than what we give them credit
Well, and a lot
for.
of it's the position.
Yeah, but we'll never admit that.
They usually park right where we tailgate, the parking lot.
The referees do.
And we stay after the game for quite a while. They never seem to come to their car.
Well,
Until after we've left.
We've gotten to know quite a few of them too.
They really and truly, when it's all said and done, I'm gonna tell you, they're really, really good.
Yeah.
And
They want to do
It's a hard job.
and they do, and it's very hard. But at the same time, you would not believe how well and the training that they go through.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that they take pride in, and that's something that they want to do good in.
Yeah, they just don't show up at a 6A football game
No.
either. They're a few years they're calling Princeton versus Whitewright and
Or ASA.
and stuff like that, cutting their teeth and getting graded
Sometimes
and
I think
things like that.
Sometimes I think they need to go back.
So it's to me, I think I'm glad we have officials. And I'm glad that they put up with Coach Gambill. And I'm glad that they really take pride, because I'm going to tell you what, I've never really and truly met one that just says, I'm going to have it in. Because think about it, why are they out there to begin with? Because they love the game of football, and they want to give something back to the kids.
It's their way of participating.
And it is. So I think for the most part, it's really good. And I think at the same time, with all the changes, it takes a special person to be able to get out there and call a game.
Hey, can you get us on the chain gang crew, Coach? That would be fun.
That's right.
That's a little bit short.
On the other side, so we can heckle.
Right.
They're always on the wayside. They don't want to be in the home side.
So anyway, it's
Now, there's a feedback mechanism, too, between the coaches back to the TASO official groups and stuff. What's just a summary rundown of that. What
They have regulations just like we are trained as coaches as far as CPR, tackling, and all that. They have things that they have to go through.
Yeah. But you've got a feedback mechanism, right?
With their association. Yeah, we can grade the officials after games.
Are you required to, or is it voluntary?
Yeah, UIL would always like, and so you can grade and do that and things like that. So back in, I believe it's May, we go to Richardson. We have our draft, and so if I were playing you and you're the coach at Coppell, then me and you would get together, and when it's our turn to pick the officials, then we both agree on what crew we're going to use.
Yeah.
So it's not a deal where you get to say, okay, this is the crew that I want to use. You work through it. And then also that crew's got to be available. I mean, that crew may have already been picked for that Friday night. So if you got a bad draw, then as it goes down, who you think are really, really good officiating crews may all be gone. And now you're starting to get down there and you start thinking, who am I going to use?
Now we know why.
And it's one of those deals, it's your opinion and who you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're bad crews. No. It's just who you have used in the past and who you have a relationship with as far as being able to communicate at football games. I couldn't tell you much about who they are as people or what I know about them as where they work at and all that.
We can tell what kind of cars they drive.
Yeah.
Well, and during season, it's all the crews come out of the Dallas chapter? Or?
Dallas chapter.
Yeah.
Now, if we were playing somebody like when we played Denton Geyer, Denton Geyer came here and we used the Dallas chapter.
Yeah.
So when we went to Denton Geyer, we used the Fort Worth chapter.
Okay.
Because that's who they use.
That's who they use, yeah.
And so that's how that works. So when you get to the playoffs, now you've got the chapters. And that's where you got to get ahead, because if we want this crew, then we got to get them before they get picked.
Houston, East Texas, West Texas.
Yes, all of it. I mean, you got Abilene, you got them all over. I mean, all over the state, these crews. And Houston has a really, really big officiating crew. Dallas does. And so they're all trained. They have to go through all this training and everything throughout the entire summer and all. They work at it just like we do as coaches. There's a lot of time and energy put into it.
So is there a, when you're looking at those crews, is there a crew or a certain referee that you say absolutely he'll never referee another one of my games? That's a yes or no question. You don't have to expand on it. Yes or no.
Blink twice.
It's hotter there. You see?
There's a good possibility.
That's all it needs to be said.
That's all you have to say.
But
yes,
I have to look at it like this, and I really do, because I've got to be able to evaluate myself and everything. Do I make mistakes? Most definitely. And some of those people make mistakes, and guess what? I may use them again.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're a bad person, that they're a bad official. We all make mistakes, and that's the way I got to look at it. And because some crews that I've used, I look at it like this. He just had a bad game. Or he had a bad moment, he had a bad call that was crucial, but that doesn't mean he's a bad official. I mean, he just had a bad moment right there, and I think at the same time, where's your focus? Are you just going to be that focused that it's that bad? I don't think you can live life like that.
That's a good answer.
I mean, that's why I look at it, but I don't know that I'll use some officials here real soon.
Fair enough. All right. We have not dug into this year's Allen football team, but we're going to. So what can we expect? Heavy graduation.
Yeah, it's going to be a team that takes the field with probably not as much experience as far as playing time throughout the entire team. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody knows. Well, what I'm excited about, just like any other year, is we've got a team of individuals that have had a great off season, a great spring, and a great summer. And I know that's easy for people to say, well, he's just doing coach talk. No, it's the truth. Because our kids, I just visited with Gino the other day, and he is so pumped about what those kids did this summer. And he said, you wouldn't believe how much. He said, Terry, I'm just talking about good people being here on time and working together and being a team. And so that's exciting to hear. I mean, that's what I get feedback from him, me and him talk and things like that. So as we take the field, it's going to be about what's your focus like every day. It can't be about one player or this and that. I mean, because you got to show up and we got to make a team. Number one thing I talk to our players about is you've got to earn the right to be a starter. You've got to earn it. We have to earn the right to win a football game. And people always think that Allen's going to show up there and win. No, you have to earn the right to win that game. So when we play Cedar Hill, how we practice, that allows us the opportunity to earn the right. That doesn't mean we'll beat Cedar Hill. But we've got to earn the right first. And that means showing up on time every day and being focused and doing everything that you can to make this football team a better football team. But we've got to earn the right.
Right.
And so it really doesn't matter what everybody thinks, oh, you've got this at this position, this and that. No, you still got to earn it.
Well, some of the new kids, I guess, and how young the offensive line is going to be, do you have to simplify things until you can find out how are they going to be able to execute, or how do you work through
No,
that
what you
with,
do is
with the younger kids?
when they show up, they'll do the same drills that they've done. They'll do the same drill work. You do the same thing. You have in place, Coach Carter and Coach Gill, the same drill work that we work. That they did last year. But it's all a matter of the technique that you use. Where kids get in trouble is they start believing they don't have to work as hard. So if I sit in here and talked about such and such player, that he's unbelievable, well then he starts putting that into his head and thinking that he is really, really good. Well, I don't have to work as hard. Well, you just lied to yourself. Just like as a football player, you as a person, you ever had a bad day?
No.
Yes, sir.
See? He just lied to himself. He's never had a bad day. You've never had a bad day. You've had a bad moment. A football player does not have a bad game. He has bad plays.
Yeah.
You don't have a bad day in life. You have bad moments. So when we go to practice, that's just a bad moment. If these kids go to class, I go to math, I make a 50 on a test, that's a bad moment. I go to English, I just made a 90. So how is it a bad day? It's what you think.
Every day's blessed.
And it is. So
Yeah,
when you go to practice,
Mark, you're out of here.
Go be healed.
so when you go to practice, it's all about us focusing on what we have to do to make this football team better. And then we earn the right to win games. And if you don't do that, then you hadn't earned the right to win a game. You hadn't earned the right. And I think if we'll focus in on those things instead about, we don't focus on who we're playing, we focus on how we have to attack it.
Yep.
And so to answer your question is, this is what we have to do to become a very good offensive lineman, a defensive back, linebackers. It takes a lot of work, guys. And it's hard. It's real hard. Because I'm going to tell you this, whoever we're playing, they're going to have 3 great practices.
Yep.
It's their Super Bowl, and we understand that. That's
We're
what's
the target.
hard.
Yep.
I mean, you're wearing a target. That's right. And so that's how I get more involved in stuff like that than I do the other about how many catches or, man, you're really
Stats,
good.
yeah.
Because you're not going to stay the same. I mean, we have a great game with our wide receivers or running backs with our running game. People are going to take things away. And then that's where we as coaches, you've got to sit down and you got to analyze. And there's so many RPOs now, the run pass options. when people, and that's what, it's nobody's fault, but as you watch games, why does this happen or that? Well, that's what this or that. Now, can you execute it? It's hard enough to run a play against air. You go out there and throw and catch a football.
Yeah. Well, you take a quarterback like Raylan, and it's like Carter at Trinity and William Cole at Cedar Hill back in 06. Those types of players are so dynamic that the RPO becomes a real weapon. And those DBs, they're going to get caught cheating coming up to try and protect that scramble. And then all of a sudden, 15 yards over his head, touchdown. So
it's really
it takes some discipline.
It does, and that's why you got to really have great practices.
Yeah.
So
it's something that we've all noticed, and we kind of even changed how we even said it, like first string, second string, third string. It seems more like a rotation thing, and I noticed because my boys played middle school, and that's what they call it. They call it first rotation, second rotation, and I would feel like that y'all use a lot of like the preseason games and stuff as an evaluation, and the kids are competing for more playing time in that system, and that's one thing we find. It's like, oh man, we didn't even know this kid was on the map, And
I was going to bring that, yeah.
And then next thing you know, and we always go back to Dallas George. I mean, I remember Kane telling us at the first of the year he was like third rotation, and then ended up being, MVP, that
leading tackler,
because he had the opportunity to come in and make an impact
and earned it.
We want to make sure that we have plenty of depth at every position, and we don't want to wait till an injury occurs to start saying, okay, now you got to get out there and get it done.
Right.
So we believe, and I do too, the more that you can play, more players that you can play, you have a better locker room.
Yeah.
And everybody feels like they're a part of something special. I have.
It seems to work in this program.
Right. I have a big heart for every kid on the team, and to me, that every kid, no matter how much playing time they have, they're going to always be able to go back in their life and remember, because the older you get, you don't sit around and say, well, we won this game, this. It's all about, football is about relationships. And it's all about their relationships and all the times that they, just like we talked earlier about the reading program, about their team meals, and about the things that are important. The wins and losses come and go. The seasons come and go. But it's about your relationships that you have with each other. Just like this. This is something that is very special for y'all, your relationships.
Brotherhood.
And it is. Well. And so the game is just there, but it's about y'all's relationships and also about your relationships with our players, like you said, out in the parking lot. Those kids, you do not realize how that affects them. And that's what, to me, is, did you win today? You darn right we did. We're 1-0.
Did you have a question?
No, he touched on. It was just one of those things. Just reiterating. We've had so much fun as a group, seeing those diamonds in the rough throughout the season start to come to the forefront. And Dallas George is a perfect example of that. And it's just that was kind of what my question. What is it like for you as a coach and as a mentor to these kids to see that kind of thing year in and year out? Someone is going to be, but then you see him put the effort in during that. We don't see it a lot of times. Yeah, we're at practices and sometimes, but you see it every day, and then to see it, the fruition of that on the field, and during, that's got to be something that's just awesome.
It is, and the kids also, they see it.
Yeah,
and they're like,
they get a little motivated.
They do, and I'm telling you, and that's.
Well, it shows them that, say they aren't first rotation, that the opportunity does exist.
Right.
I'll go back to 2012 when Jeff Harris got hurt, caught up, and Marcus Ward, who
stepped right in.
All 5'7"
He's awesome.
of him.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. And he said, I got the opportunity, and he had a great year, and he was a big part of it.
And that
DeSoto game, he was such an animal. So,
oh my God,
he just mowed him down.
Yeah. So you don't ever know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. I mean, the first year we win the state championship,
Tucker Carter.
I mean, everybody thought we lost to Trinity,
Yeah.
non-district.
Yep.
Yeah.
What kind of team is this going to be? You just stay focused on what you can control,
Yep.
and you just keep plugging along. Matt Brown gets hurt. Tucker Carter comes in, and things, just continue the course. And I think that speaks volumes about where the focus is. Right. Is your focus going to be on the negative, or is your focus going to be on how we can get there?
Yeah, it's talking about
put
focus, a beating he took in that state championship
Yeah,
game,
so that
and
was
still
Right.
came through. It's awesome.
Put your way back hat on.
James
Down at bed. No. This was
more gray hair. This nostalgic.
This was the turning point. I mean, this was it. This was a historic for Allen program because they'd never gone to state. It was playing against Round Rock Stony Point down at Baylor, and it started out and it was getting tough. They were getting up on us.
Are you bringing up
they
the
were driving
40-yard punt?
No. I'm curious from your standpoint, kind of the feeling and the flow of that game when they're coming down, they're driving, and then Stephen Terrell, makes that play. I mean,
Right. What
it's a challenge, and
what happens, even back then or now or whenever, you got two great teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, you got two great teams. And what's going to happen is the determining factor, because they have done a stat on this and we talked to our players on it. Like 97% of the time, if you win the turnover battle, you're going to win the game.
Yeah.
97% of the time.
it's crazy stats.
Staggering.
Wow.
And so we won that game in the turnover battle. And just like you said, Stephen Terrell picks it and goes. Me and Justin Robinson were just talking about the other day at camp. He said, "You remember when Stephen picked that, went to the house?" Yeah, I mean, so just things like that. But it goes back to me. Don't turn the football over. Win the turnover battle. Don't have a whole lot of missed tackles. Now, you're going to miss tackles, but as a defensive unit, if you'll get 7 to 8 guys to the football, when that kid misses the tackle, then there's more players there to secure it. You're going to have some missed assignments. You're going to have some things that happen during the course of a ball game that don't go your way. Now, how do you handle the adversity? And that will be a huge question on us this year. Is when adversity happens to us, how do we handle it?
Right.
I mean, you've got to be strong enough to handle it because it's going to happen. I don't care. It's going to happen in every ball game. And that's something we talk about also. When it happens, who are we as a team? Well, we got to handle it. And a lot of times, the first time it happens, young people don't handle it well. You find out about your senior leaders. Hey, forget that. Let's go. And so you see your leadership come on. Hey, forget it. Move on.
I think a great example of that was the Rockwall playoff game last year.
Yes.
Boom, it was what, second or third play?
Yeah. I mean,
Boom, they go
Misdirection, boom,
Yeah.
gone. Yeah.
I mean,
And it was
Back and forth and back and
And,
forth.
and as Allen fans, from a fan's perspective, you're like, that doesn't happen. The same thing in the Duncanville game.
We're the last one to have the
Mr.
ball.
Jackson just decided to go
Exactly.
I was
off.
going to win that game.
Or the first play from scrimmage, as a matter of fact. The
So-
running back, you're like,
you've got to really break that stuff down and look at that and keep the kids focused. I
which
mean,
you do a
really-
great job of.
So
And
it just
as fans, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
So practice starts August 12th, as you said. Scrimmage versus Hebron, you told us a little while ago, on Thursday, August 22nd.
Yes.
It'll be in the evening, exact time, 6:30,
Right.
somewhere around there. Be looking for that. And then the first game in the Tom Landry Classic will be August 30th at 7 o'clock at Eagle Stadium.
That's right.
You excited?
I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I really am. I mean, this will be year 35.
How many more you got?
A lot. There's a lot left
Good
in the
to hear.
tank. I mean, it really is. I mean, it just
Good.
I look at it as one day at a time. I mean, I really do. people say, well, what about why worry about it? I mean, why? I mean, I've got today, and I've got an important job to do today. And I owe it to those kids. I owe it to our coaches to come, and I talk to them all the time. You better get on that energy bus. You better get on that energy bus. We're going into that weight room. You better get on that swole train.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Coach Gambill has never been known as a low energy coach, right?
So you better get on that energy bus. You better get on the swole train. You better do the things that it takes to be successful. I mean, we all have one life, so why not go make the most of it?
There you go.
And there's not a better high school football coaching job than this one right here, is there?
That's right. You got it.
Yeah.
So
No
To
regrets.
go back to what you were saying a while ago, that's how you get 7 or 8 guys to the football.
Yep.
It starts, you know.
Energy.
He has a question for us. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What was the question for us?
You have a
Coach?
question for us, or you said you did.
Yeah, you already answered it. You failed.
Oh.
Have you ever had a bad day?
I had it, Coach.
Have you ever had a bad day?
See what happens when you try to answer for the group. That's
Right,
it.
so-
Zip the mouth. That was it, seriously. That was it.
That was it.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
I mean,
You didn't let Mark know that was the question
That was
of
the
the
What
day.
was your major in college?
my major, and I'll be honest.
Well, I hope so.
So when I left when I left
Gender studies? No, I don't
when I
think
left
so.
Garland High School, I had one thing, and it was to go play football.
Right.
And my education process was very hard. I mean, it was very hard.
We know some kids like that.
Because I loved sports.
Yep.
And I loved football. I wish I would have spent a whole lot more time with my education. And so when I got to Tarleton, it got a lot tougher for Terry Gambill.
Yeah.
And like I tell the kids, you either sacrifice right now or you sacrifice later. And it was tough. And it was an eye-opening experience. I had to spend a lot more time. But I just loved, and I think that's why I'm coaching, being around sports in the game and about being a part of a team. I just loved it. I mean, I really. So my years at Tarleton State, I was a physical education major and minored in history. But if I could have done just one thing, it would have been just go play football. And I owe the game a lot, because what it has done for me. And all my coaches, I was blessed. I was blessed to have great coaches. I don't ever remember me ever having bad coaches. I didn't look at it like that. I mean, I just was like,
They just had bad moments, right, Coach?
that's right.
Touche.
I mean, it's a different time and era back then. I mean, we now do things the right way. I mean, get you 2 salt tablets, go to practice, and
Rub some dirt on it.
yeah, suck it up and things like that. I mean, I look back and I'm like, golly, I can't.
How'd we
believe-
survive?
Yeah, I mean, but it was just a different time and era, and so very.
We're all about the same age, so we know. Yeah, we were
Yeah,
there.
you do. And so it's just, I mean, but yeah, to me, but I do have 3 degrees. I have a high school diploma. I've got a bachelor's and a master's. I stayed there extra year and GA'd and got my master's, and very proud of being able to do all of that. And
And you got a great family? Couple
yeah,
kids, grandkids?
that's something I'm very proud of. Is
yeah.
my 3 children? They all have college degrees.
Yeah.
And Texas State did not do us a favor. They didn't give us a discount for sending 3. I was like, well, what I got to do? Send 4?
Volume discount?
And but they all have
Buy
college
3, get 1
degrees.
free.
And so
Yeah.
very, very proud of all of them. for
Can they have
their-
a Kroger card?
Yeah.
Speaking of your kids, Chase made one of the best catches in Allen football
Oh, my
history
gosh,
in
yeah.
the corner of the end zone against South Lake, because I had already packed my camera up, and I'll be first one. I mean,
That was the
you know,
heartbreak.
that was a heartbreaker, but still,
Yeah, I
for
mean,
that little
those are
scrawny
great memories.
5'9" white kid to out jump out, you know,
Yeah.
it looked like he was about to touch the scoreboard there.
I mean, it was. That was a great moment, and we'll always look back on that. He has that memory. I mean, you know, as a junior, he didn't get to hardly play that much.
Yeah.
So he faced an obstacle, being a coach's kid, did not get to play that much as a junior, and now he's got to figure out in the off season how you're going to handle it. Again, we just talked about you got to go earn it, and if he would have just thrown in the towel and given up, then he would not have had that moment in his life.
Yeah.
And I think he understands about the hard work and where you got to get to accomplish things in life. So, again, it's just one of those moments, again, that teaches you a life lesson. So, I think that's what life's about. What sports, well, how it teaches you. So,
We got any time for a lightning round?
Sure.
Peanut butter, smooth or crunchy?
Oh, this is great because we got a lot of these.
smooth.
Smooth.
Coke or
Peanut butter and
Pepsi?
jelly sandwiches. I tell our players, you can make those, and you ought to make one every
it's
day.
instant protein, man.
But that's right. And players will come to practice. I didn't eat. Why didn't you make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich the night before? It's not your parents' responsibility. You could have done that.
All right,
Smooth.
Mark, Coke or Pepsi? Coke or Pepsi?
If I had to drink one, I try to stay away from them. I drink a lot of water, but Coke. There's no question.
Got it.
This is James's game.
That was great. Come on, you had a whole bunch of these earlier.
Car or pickup truck?
Car. I mean, it's car pickup without a doubt.
All right,
Pick
we're
up.
going to your pickup right now and turn on the radio. What station is it on?
In the mornings, when I'm going to work every morning, I listen to 103.3 ESPN radio. I like to see what's going on because I don't stay up late at night. I usually go to bed early, and I want to hear what happened in sports, and I really do. And then there's a lot of times this time of year I like to listen to college coaches or NFL coaches if they have them on there and see what they're saying about their teams and anything that we can add to our team. So, but if I had to pick a station, I'm going to listen to country.
Whataburger or In-N-Out Burger?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, that's not even a question.
Yeah, see how there it is?
Whataburger.
There you go, Alan.
We have one in and out now. He's from California.
Well, what do you
man.
expect?
Exactly.
Whataburger. Ah,
Steak or chicken?
there's no comparison to a steak. There's nothing better than a steak, and then add a little grilled shrimp with it.
There you go.
Evening sports channel. Which sports channel do you like watching for the evening news?
I mean, I just think they've done it for years. ESPN radio. I mean, ESPN television. I mean, that's where you can get all
Sports
your
Center. Yeah.
Yeah, Sports
The
Center.
networks have gone so short on this.
Yeah, they
don't
have.
get anything anymore.
Uh-huh.
I was just looking to find out if he likes Dale Hansen or if he likes Newey Scruggs. Or...
I'm usually asleep by then.
Oh, there you go. What time do you go to sleep?
I usually start heading to the bed by about 9, and I'm probably gone by
Conked out.
9:30.
Wow.
What's the wake up time?
Depending on the time of year, but most time, football season, it's going to probably be real early, about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right, what's your max on the bench, Coach?
Not very much.
I saw the
What do you bench, Coach?
I saw the Max Preps video, and the girl asked you about, and you said, I get in here sometimes.
Yeah. I get in the weight room.
But you don't have the typical dad body, so I thought,
I try to get a workout in, and because I just know that when you go and start two-a-days, or well, they're really not two-a-days, but when you're on that field, I'm telling you,
It's draining.
it's draining, and man, you're on your feet, and you got long days, and the better you feel, I'm just telling you, I feel better when I get to go do a walk for 30 minutes or get a workout in.
Yep.
I just feel better.
Mhm.
And, it really is kind of a boring part. Okay, you go to bed at 9:30, and same routine and all, but you got to take care of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you really do. Same thing we tell our kids. You won't get something out of your body and be able to do it for a long period of time. You got to take care of yourself, and you got to be able to exercise. You got to be able to do this. I mean, I remember when as a kid reading an article about Coach Landry, and he would take a nap when they were at training camp every afternoon before they'd go to the next practice. And it makes sense. That's Coach Landry coaching the Dallas Cowboys. He always set aside in the afternoon he was going to get a 1 hour nap in.
1 hour is a good nap.
1 hour. And
Any more than that, you're worn out.
And so I think you play better. I think you do your job better when you're well rested.
Agree.
Thank you for your time.
No,
Yeah.
thank y'all. Thank y'all for
Well,
what you
Coach,
do.
for being a special guest with us today.
We have there's $1.95 left on this Subway gift card here. So that $3.05 will get you a $5
We have complied with the less than $2 policy for Allen ISD gifts.
Ham and cheese sandwich.
There you go.
That's awesome.
One
Y'all are
thing,
great.
yeah, we need a little housekeeping deal. We need to remind all the staff and teachers and the administration over at the admin building, August 30th, which is the first game too, we will have our third annual Balding Eagle staff lunch at Blue from 11 to 1. We're doing barbecue again. We'll have Brandon there helping us out. But we really enjoy doing that. You're talking about the teachers. It's our little give back to them every year. And we just
And the folks over at the athletic office,
Yeah, you need to come over.
Yeah.
And
bring them over and
them little coaches kind of have their
Well,
own routine.
they have their lunch
Yeah.
game day lunch
But
plans.
there will be free barbecue and just come by, say hello.
So we need to set up something and bring breakfast to y'all some Saturday morning after right after the football game.
Yeah.
We need to do that.
Well, it depends on if a win or a loss.
oh my gosh.
Well, no, the quality of the breakfast depends on the winner or the loss. We'll still bring it. We'll bring in and out instead
Chicken
of
or
water. Exactly. But no, thank you for your time.
No,
we appreciate
thank
you
you.
coming out and appreciate all you do for the kids and for the school. And we look forward to a good season coming
Great
up.
year, and see if we can get some W's. And like you said just a minute ago, I'll tell you what, we have a great faculty there at the high school.
Yep.
Those teachers love kids, and every day they go in there and they are really, you talking about doing an unbelievable job of working with those kids and teaching them and doing things. Just fortunate to be in a school district like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you now, this is a special place.
We agree. And then speaking of that, special shout out to someone who I saw baking cookies on Facebook this week in
Yes, ma'am.
preparation for this upcoming football season. Che, we're looking forward to it.
She expands our waistline. She brings us
Every
a box
week.
of
She got
cookies
you.
Every Friday.
Every week.
Every Friday she brings us cookies.
Are they not unbelievable?
You know, they are so great.
They are great.
And
We're just
looking
sitting here
forward to
waiting.
that. So, that'll end this episode. Podcast 44, which we did not even get to a player number 44.
I know.
McBride.
Matt McBride. Who else
Yeah.
did we say?
Well, Chris Pinson.
Yeah, so shout out to you guys wherever you're at. Thanks for wearing the number. But until next time, it's over and we're out.